guys, it's Kim here, and welcome back to Top 5 Games of 2016. I am joined by the wondrous rainbow that is Zoey!
Hi, that's me.
How you doing?
I am good, how are you?
I'm alright. That wasn't such a how you doing? Let's bring friends back. So, have you managed to put together a fairly normal list of games here?
It's normal for me.
I'm just commenting because everyone I've recorded with so far, has come up, including myself, has come up with the weirdest, and additions and stuff like this. And I'm just please, can somebody just stick to the rules?
I absolutely assure you, for your top 5 games of the year, I have only named 6 games.
Okay. And is it going to be top 6, or is one or two of those in a joint position?
The 5 is a joint position because I couldn't really split them.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's begin. What is your joint top 5?
Right, so Dishonored 2 and Hitman Season 1, the episodic game that was released this year, I was basically trying to figure out which one I would put in and trying to figure out the reasons I would put them in, and I realised that they're both actually quite similar. They both actually approach games in a really cool way, and I want to spend 2 minutes just talking about it, which I guess is the point of this.
Yeah. Good thing you came to the right show, because that's what you do here.
So I obviously we've been loads of people have been streaming on the Yogscast channel this year, and I struggled to find games halfway through the year, and Hitman started coming out. Every month they release an episode for it, and I was fine, we'll make that a thing. And so the season has now finished. I've done 5 different streams on it, and I've loved it. Dishonored 2 came out last month at a period where I was trying to think of what to stream as well, so I started streaming that. And basically streaming these games to loads of wonderful people watching lets me just mess about and be totally ridiculous with these really quite brutal and deadly kills. You can decapitate people, you can just do crazy stuff, you can drop a moose head on someone in Hitman to assassinate them. And the reason why I bring this up and it's so good is because after the stream, I obviously still wanted to play these games. I wasn't just going to stream them for 3 hours and then just leave them. So I loaded up Hitman, I loaded up Dishonored 2, and then you can just play it completely differently. With Dishonored 2, on the stream, you will see me just murdering everyone. I just stroll into a city, 5 minutes later, everyone's dead. But when I played it by myself, I was ghosting. I was oh, no one's going to see me. I was jumping up to the rooftops, darting from bit to bit. And I was seeing new rooms and new places and even new people that I hadn't met when I was streaming. And it was the level that I was on suddenly became 2 times as big. And it's the same with Hitman. You can go in, you can just unlock the ninja costume and just katana everybody to death and just whatever. Or you can be clever and you can disguise yourself as a doctor and sneak into the patient's room and be yes, I've come to murder you. And it's just it's the same game. But I've played both of those games 3 times over in so many different ways. Dishonored 2 especially, you can pick 2 different characters with 2 completely different power sets, and it's just nuts, the possibilities. I've written this down. So with Dishonored 2, you can be either Emily or Corvo. It's 2 characters. They both have their own separate powers, 6 powers each. You can do a non-lethal or lethal playthrough. You can do a ghost silent playthrough or a totally noisy playthrough. And that's 6 different options right there. And already, whoa, you're playing the game 5 times just to experience all that. And it's nuts. And it's the same with Hitman. And I keep talking about all this stuff. There's so much stuff. I'm sorry.
But what's your favourite way to go through these? What's your favourite method of dispatch? Are you a loud murderous farty killer, or are you a kind of stealthy ninja killer? What's your kind of style? I wanted to do the comedic stuff and blow things up and be really, really cool. And I did that on the stream, and it felt great. But it wasn't until Rithian said you really should go through and do this all properly and stuff. And I gave it a go. It was really tough at first. The first half hour I kept getting spotted and ruining the whole thing. But then I stuck with it, and I'm now up to the 4th level in Dishonored 2 of just being completely silent, just sneaking through. Just no one has seen me yet. I've not killed anybody yet. I've knocked him out. I've knocked loads of people out, but I've not killed anybody.
anybody yet.
Lots of people with like really nasty headaches.
Yeah, they have no idea where they are now, but whatever. But yeah, no one's dead and no one's seen me, and I've just gone through like a silent ghost through like 4 levels now, and it's felt so cool. It's felt so cool. And there's these moments where you think someone's about to see you, but then you use your shadow power to like jump up to a roof, and then they're just like, where did she go?
Yeah. I have no idea. What was that sound?
But yeah,
I
it's
always
so
love
cool.
that.
It's so cool.
Oh, well, fair enough. I think that's okay. I can let you get away with those two joint as number 5. So with that out of the way, what is your number 4?
This is, we'll get past the unorthodox stuff very quickly because number 4 is also quite unorthodox, but bear with me here. I wanted to put Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's somewhere in my top 5, but I felt like that wouldn't be fair because I'm streaming it and playing it and I haven't actually, gone past the tutorial, like the intro bit, so it wouldn't really be fair to say, hey, this is my game of the year that I've not actually played. However, previously this year, Pokemon Go came out, and so I think Pokemon Go is going to be the Pokemon game of choice for my top 5, but for very weird reasons. That I'm trying to wrap my head around how I'm going to explain this.
Okay.
I didn't like the game. I thought the game was not actually much of a game and there wasn't much to do, but it allowed me to do something that no other game has allowed me to do. And for that, I think it's important that this gets a mention and gets a place. So it's, I guess it's kind of weird to call it my game of the year because it really isn't, but it's definitely my experience of the year. Basically, I mean, it's no secret I suffer from serious mental health problems and I cannot leave the house very often. And for this year, I did not leave the house for about 7 months, from like January till July. And then in July, Pokemon Go came out, and the kind of point of the game was to go outside and to catch these Pokemon. And this was at a time as well where Fiona goes away and works a summer job. Yeah. So for July and August, I basically do Tesco orders and have them come to the house, so I never have to go outside, and it's all just me by myself and being all secluded. And that worked for me for a while, but I realized very quickly, I should probably try and actually be an adult. Pokemon Go came out at almost perfect timing, like middle of July, I think it was. Yeah. And I loaded it up. I tried to catch some Pokemon. There was like a Caterpie in my toilet or whatever, so great.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. So I was able to play it for a little bit. I think I managed to get to like level 5 without leaving the house. But you get to this point where you run out of Pokeballs, and the only way to get them is to go out the house and to get a Pokestop. And so I was there looking at my phone, looking at like my incomplete Pokédex, and I was just, can I do this? Can I just, there's one right down the road. Can I go to that? I don't know if I can do that. And it's just anxiety and stress and like, I can't open the door and it was a mess. But then just suddenly, randomly, middle of August, I just open the back door, go out the back garden, go into the alley behind my house, try and avoid contact with any other person, and I just walk down the road, walk around the block, and come back to my house. It takes like 5 minutes, but I do it. I go out the house because Pokemon, and
because your need for Pokemon overcame.
Yeah, and I don't know if that might sound lame to some people or whatever, but for me it was such an important thing. It was just it gave me that push. And then after that, like when Fiona came back, we were going out. I started going around her mum's house and stuff. I started interacting. and like it's kind of, I think I kind of went too far in that direction and went out a bit too much after that, so I've reined it back in a bit now, but I feel in a much better place than I was at the start of the year, and I attribute that fully to Pokemon Go, basically.
I think that's an amazing experience, and thank you for sharing with us. And I think it's one of those wonderful things that shows that, because so many people, especially in the media, are so quick to be like, video games are bad for you and stuff like that. And it's like, well, actually, no. Games like Pokemon Go and Minecraft and things like that have helped people, like so many people with mental health issues, kind of overcome their anxieties, or at least deal with their anxieties. And I think that's definitely a story. Like I have another friend whose daughter suffers the same as well from not claustrophobia, agoraphobia, and Pokemon Go, it pretty much the same story. It helped her kind of overcome that and have a reason to go outside and a distraction, a kind of a need to go outside, and yeah, so that was, thank you very much for sharing that experience. And yeah, I can totally understand why Pokemon Go is on the list rather than Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah, it's I never would have predicted this. Like at the start of the year, if you were to say, hey Zoe, halfway through the year a game's going to come out that will make you want to go outside all the time, I would have been like, nah, that's not happening.
That's fair enough. Well, okay, so I think that's a really cool choice and a really deserved entry in at number 4. So outside of that, what's in at number 3?
Okay, now number 3, pretty much purely based on the amount of time I have spent playing this game this year, would be the new expansion for World of Warcraft, Legion.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah, basically, since it came out August 30th, I think I've put 20 days of playtime into it. So in like the last 3 months, I've played for 20. That can't be right. That can't be right. I think that's right. But
no, that works out. Yeah, I can see that getting squished in there.
Yeah. So again, this is a weird thing because the last expansion, Warlords of Draenor, which had been running for like the previous 2 years, was really bad. Like, people hated it. They had no idea what they were doing. There was only enough content for like a month, and then everyone just quit because there was nothing left to do. And everyone was like, well, that's the end of WoW, had a good run. But then, it's a 12-year-old game at this point, and they've released this new expansion for it, and it has completely reinvigorated the game. People have come back to it, like millions of people, and they're just playing it again. It's like 12 years old at this point. It doesn't make sense that people would still be playing it, but here they are, and it's just fantastic. Like they've added so many new things to it, and they just know what they're doing again. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels good again.
Yeah, no, I get it, because, I'm a long-term Final Fantasy fan, and there are Final Fantasies that are great, and there are Final Fantasies that are not so great that you're just like, what the hell were you thinking, guys? Come on. And then they release one that you're just like, okay, now we're back, I can talk to you again. And I feel like that's what's happened with both Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft this year, especially after, like you mentioned, after Draenor. Like, I know you guys, I'm not a dedicated WoW fan, but I know hanging around you guys, I know how disappointed you were. With Draenor. So yeah, I'm glad you guys got your fix again and got the game you deserve.
Let's not call it a fix. I haven't played for 20 days straight. That's not a thing that's happened. We're not going to talk about that side of it. Let's just say that I've had a jolly good time in World of Warcraft this year. Yay!
Yay! Long may it rain. So since pretty much everyone and their mother has talked about World of Warcraft in this, I'm going to jostle you quickly along to number 2. So you've kind of got the big ones that I had you pegged for out of the way. So I don't know where we're going to go now. So what's in at number 2 for you?
I think you might still have been expecting this one because I'm going to say Overwatch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
You weren't expecting it? Oh, no.
No.
That's throwing me off. Okay, Overwatch is... all of these games that I'm picking are all for very specific reasons that are kind of separate to the game itself, I suppose. Like, World of Warcraft is because all my friends are back and we're all playing again and it's fantastic, and Pokemon Go obviously had that whole thing. And this one is similar. Overwatch, although the game is very good and the graphics are a really cool art style, Blizzard have nailed like a first-person shooter, all the skills and everything, like each character feels different. I mean, that's the thing that I want to talk about. Each character is different. There's representation. There's characters that are not just the same template over and over and over. There's things that... How do I start explaining this? How do I talk about this? Because there's just so much goodness to this. That's the thing I want to talk about. Just the refreshing taste that is Overwatch.
Yeah,
compared to everything
I mentioned
else.
The same in my top 5 because Overwatch is my number 1. Weirdly,
okay.
I know, right? Weird. We live in strange times. And I said my biggest reason was because of the characters, because they're so different. It's not just generic white dude with a gun. It's people from all different races. We got monkeys, we got ninjas, we got robots, we got men, women, and it's nice to play a game that's like PvP and, combat, essentially a shooter. I mean, I guess the equivalent would be, I don't know, Call of Duty multiplayer, Battlefield multiplayer, that kind of thing. And it's just so wonderfully different.
Yeah, and like you're saying about the robot as well, like they've released these animated shorts for all the characters, and I think there was a period when they released a Bastion short where, you know, half the people playing this game were crying over a robot. They cared about him and what happened to him, and it's like, if Blizzard can do that, if they can make like a 5-minute movie that makes people care for this robot, then they are obviously very good at making characters. Like, it was incredible.
I think the thing is as well is it just makes the whole game more accessible and more interesting, because I've played it with a lot of friends who would never play shooters or PvP and stuff like that, but they've all found a character that has really identified with them, that they've really enjoyed, like both in terms of design and in terms of playing as them, because it's not just pick up a gun and shoot. You know, there's all the supports and stuff like that, which are equally valuable in the fight.
And it's like different skill levels as well. Like Xylus, he will pick Genji because you can do some like dash, melee, hit, shuriken combo, and Fiona will pick Bastion because she can just sit and whistle in a corner and murder a dude. And and it's just like everyone has a character that they can just attach to, and it just feels good. It just feels nice. If the whole cast, well, I was going to say, if the whole cast was Soldier 76, no one would play this game.
Yeah, pretty much. But even then, like, because he's the only, I think, like, archetypical shooter character in this.
Yeah.
I think he does have a special place in people's hearts, like, you know, especially because he's older and he's like old grumpy dude. I think he kind of works, like,
definitely,
still.
Yeah.
But who's your main? Who do you love playing as?
Depends if I'm attacking or defending. If I'm attacking, I am D.Va pretty much all the time. The whole, like, the thing about D.Va is, like, when they first revealed her, it was like, gamer girl, oh, she's so good, she was MLG at StarCraft 2, and everyone was kind of like, yeah, you're kind of bit forcing that. But then Tumblr took it in this totally new direction where she secretly, like, binges on Mountain Dew and Doritos whenever she's not gaming and stuff, and it's like, yes, now this is the character I identify with.
That's fair enough. Oh, bless you. I'm a Junkrat, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I've stopped playing as him for a little bit, and I've gone more for Mercy. I don't know. I'm jumping between Mercy and D.Va and Symmetra at the moment. Like, Symmetra, I just love how bitchy she is. You know, I love that her emote is to bring out a chair and sit on it, judging you.
And then, like, you go up to her, you think you can push her off the chair, you walk through the door, and just 6 turrets just start blasting you.
Pretty much, that's my method. And then you just got Junkrat, who's so completely the opposite, in that he's just wildly, deliciously mad and just, like, spams grenades everywhere and allows me to do my dreadful Australian accent.
Yeah, that's important.
So what's not to love about this game?
It's so good, seriously. And like, I did kind of gloss over it, but the graphics and the art style are also really good. Like, yeah. I'm not dismissing the rest of the game. I just think the characters are what really makes it. Like, the character, just such good everythingness with the characters.
Definitely. Well, at the risk of talking about Overwatch non-stop, we still have a number 1 slot to go. So,
yeah,
Zoey pro as heck. By the way, it took me ages to realise what pro as heck.
Yeah. It's my name. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it took me ages to realise what that spelled out. But what is your number 1 game of 2016?
Well, this is going to annoy you.
Okay.
Because it's not a video game, and it was not released in 2016.
Okay.
But it is the thing that I have enjoyed the most playing this year.
Okay.
I guess story time. Last time I was in Bristol, last time I visited you guys was back when Force Awakens released last year. And Mark Holmes, he took a group of us after, like, a couple of days after the movie, and we went into one of the rooms in the office and we played the Force and Destiny beginner game, the Star Wars RPG by Fantasy Flight Games. And I sat down, I played it, I was a Jedi, I had a pink lightsaber, as you do. And I sat around, I played this, I just fell in love with it. And I was talking to Mark after, and I was like, how do I do this? How do I play this thing? And he was telling me about this game. And then in January, I started GMing, randomly, my own Star Wars RPG campaign with Rythian, Ravs, Xylus, Fiona, Alex the editor, and Duncan. So 6 players, which people
That's a
warned
lot.
me was not a good thing to start with, but whatever, I did it. And we went strong for like 20 weeks, and we've taken a break now. Like there was a part in the story where it didn't make sense to carry on and Fiona was away and stuff. But next month we're going to kick it up again. And yeah, I spent like 20 weeks just planning and running the session, and I just love it. It's just such a good system, and I have all these people, and I've got so many words for it. I don't know how to start. It's
No, I get it, because the D&D bug hit me this year as well with high rollers. Like, you know, I have fallen head over and heels in love with high rollers, and also GM'd my own, like the 2 horror one-shots as well. So I totally get like how, I don't know, exciting and wonderful it is to create this world and this story. And I know how much you love Star Wars as well, so I can imagine that's like the perfect kind of creative maelstrom to just be like, I'm gonna tell a Star Wars story. And yeah, I totally get why that is your number one. Like, absolutely.
To get all of this mess out of my brain and just like slop it down onto a page and just have people actually interested in that slop. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, every session I start and I say to the guys, I'm saying like, oh, don't think I've done a good one this week. Hope you guys enjoy it though. And then, like, you know, 5 hours later, they're all like, dude, that was the best session ever. Oh my God. And like, it makes me feel really cool. Like, I've created this thing and 6 people for some reason are coming back to it every week, and it's great.
It is. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I just love like how people surprise you. So like, I don't know if you're like me, but like you have a kind of vague idea of how you sort of want things to go. So you plan certain things, but then someone will do something that completely surprises you, and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. Or it like makes you think a little bit more about something you maybe perhaps didn't flesh out or something like that. And you're just like, actually, yeah, this, you know. Meanwhile, asking them to roll furiously, like, you know, while you cover up the fact that you're trying to make something up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just love my part. I want to. Can I like describe all the characters in my party? Can I shout them all out?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So Fiona is playing a pit droid. Back from the pod racing era. She got discarded because no one really pod raced anymore. The Empire kind of banned it. But Xylus, Toydarian, like Watto from the Phantom Menace, he's all like, my friend, I will buy this pit droid off you and she will be my friend. And he like hires her, and now she like works for him. And so there's this Toydarian who's like the face of the party. He's all like, let me just bribe this guy and he'll work for us, yes? And like, so that's like Xylus and Fiona are a little duo with a Toydarian and his pet pit droid. And then you've got like Rithian, who you might be able to guess is like super serious good guy Jedi who has discovered his force powers with a lightsaber. And Ravs is his apprentice, who is maybe kind of more interested in the dark side of the force, much to Rithian's chagrin, which is a word. And then Alex plays a doctor who is basically like the doctor from Firefly, in that he's like a really posh, like educated doctor who's been thrust into this group that he just doesn't really want to be part of, but gets wrapped up in all their escapades anyway. Duncan is a Wookiee.
Of course he is. I knew that Duncan was a Wookiee because he goes on about it every now and again.
Yeah, is that's all 3 people. I was thinking to carry on there, but that's all 6 people. I'm so excited. I've forgotten everything.
Oh, well, bless you. Like, I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of people going like, "Can you record it?" But you know, that's part and parcel of it. I think D&D. I think everyone should explore D&D. Everyone should get involved in D&D. You know, whether it's sci-fi, whether it's based on an IP like Star Wars, whether it's your own kind of fantasy imagines or anything like that. I think the message from this is go play D&D, because it's so great.
Good. The thing is, like, it's not just great for playing a game. It's great for getting friends. It's great for what's the word? Like creative writing. It fuels your imagination. It fills so many different pillars of your brain. It leaves you so satisfied for so many different reasons. You're playing a game. games are great. You're playing with your friends are great. You're writing and role playing, and that fuels your imagination. Just everything about it. Just it's more than just. There, I'm trying to get the words out, and it's so impossible. Everything else on my list is a video game. Video games are great. Video games are fine. Absolutely love all the other 5 things that I mentioned, but the RPG, actually doing a physical thing with other people, and it's just such a different thing. It's just I've never done this before, and thanks to Mark mostly for just showing me and introducing me this thing, and I just went nuts with it, and I just went the galaxy is mine.
Oh, that's wonderful. So to recap, your top 5/6 games of 2016 are in at number 5 is joint Dishonored 2 and Hitman.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Number 3 is World of Warcraft: The Legion expansion.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Overwatch.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Star Wars D&D. What's the full title of the campaign?
Good question. There's 3 different. I won't go into all this. We'll just call it Edge of the Empire.
Edge of the Empire, fair enough. I think that's a pretty eclectic mix. I think you've got kind of crazy creative killing with the first 2. You've got kind of the social experience of Pokemon and Edge of the Empire. You've got a PvP FPS that has weirdly entranced us all, and you've got the good old steady staple of World of Warcraft.
The nerdy one,
yeah, the nerdy one. But yeah, that's a pretty cool mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we go. Well, thank you very much, Zoe, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And if you guys know what your top 5 games of 2016 are, then let us know in the comments below.
Play D&D.
But for now, play D&D. Play lots of D&D. Play all the D&D. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Zoe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.